Psalm 46 has had us out at the crashing waves and the roaring ocean that can swallow whole mountains. And now, as we turn to the next verse in this part of God's Word, we find now that we're beside a flowing river. The contrast is really interesting, isn't it? The crashing mighty waves of the ocean that speak of things beyond our control and remind us of all that it is that we don't have power over. And then we're sitting beside a river. That channel of water that's directed, that's given structure, that flows, that has trees all along either side. This particular idea that a river might bring life and growth we find in Ezekiel chapter 47. That particular river flows out of the temple where God dwells amongst his people. This same picture of a river in the city of God we find in the book of Revelation at the very end of the Bible. And again, the river is about giving life. The river is about capturing the life that is God himself, that he shares with us through his one and only beloved Son. Jesus came to bring life. He said when he gives the Spirit, it is like water welling up within the believer. This is the river we're invited to sit beside. So imagine yourself sitting beside a river. Imagine the grass on the bank at the side, the shade of the trees, the dappled light that comes through the branches, the sound of the birds that are in the trees. And you know that God is your ever-present help in trouble, and therefore you do not fear. The fruit on the trees hangs low, you can almost reach it from where you're sitting. And you can tell that God, who is providing for you in every way, is your strength and refuge, even in times of trouble. Imagine this rich picture of sitting beside the river as perhaps another tool that you have to be able to call to mind God's gracious provision, that this river flows and brings life to you. This river comes around the bend so that you might soak in God's goodness and God's provision.